Good evening and welcome to the Buck Stops here. Today, the centre took a tough stand in the Supreme Court on the practice of triple talaq, calling it misplaced in a secular country, unfair, discriminatory and unreasonable. The centre's comments are in response to the court's call for a wider debate after a Muslim woman from Kolkata challenged her divorce over the phone, saying it violated her fundamental rights. The subject of personal law is a complicated one in India. The constitution allows for the Muslim community to regulate marriage, divorce and civil codes. The BJP has consistently called for a uniform civil code to apply to all citizens of the country. Today's arguments by the centre in court on the specific issue of divorce could also indicate the government's decision to push for a civil code.
The NDA government taking a strong stand supporting Muslim women in their fight against the triple talaq system of divorce. In its affidavit in the top court, the centre said, triple talaq is against the fundamental rights and right to live with dignity. Triple talaq, nikah halala and polygamy can't be regarded as an integral part of religion. Even under the Sharia law, triple talaq is completely misplaced in a secular country and is unfair, discriminatory and unreasonable. Nearly 20 Islamic countries, including Pakistan and Bangladesh, have regulated marriage laws. Women activists welcome the centre's stand.
ये एक अच्छी पहल है। मैं समझती हूँ कि कोर्ट को भी इस बारे में सोचना चाहिए। कोई इस तरह का कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट पास होता है तो मैं समझती हूँ कि हर मुसलमान उसको सर आंखों पे लेगा।
Central government has taken a very applaudable stand in the Supreme Court, and hence the government is totally against the deplorable practice of triple talaq. Rightly so in this case which is going on in the Supreme Court. The very fact that triple talaq is derogatory.
Expectedly, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board is angry at the centre's argument.
We expect and we think that neither the central government or any state government or neither any court will interfere in the Muslim personal laws, because Muslim personal law has been guaranteed by the constitution of our country.
The constitution allows for Muslim personal law to regulate personal matters like marriage, divorce and a civil code.
Now the top court will be deciding a very sensitive issue, whether triple talaq violates the constitutional rights of Muslim women. In New Delhi, Arunachalam Vaidyanathan, NDTV.
Well, to discuss the centre's observations in the Supreme Court today, we're being joined by Mr. Kamal Farooqi, member of the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, in the studio. We also have with us Shazia Ilmi of the BJP. We have senior journalist Shahid Siddiqui as well. We're hoping to be joined by a few more guests in a couple of minutes, but let's just get across these views right now. Kamal Farooqi, the centre has made an extremely strong case for abolishing the concept of triple talaq. Now, the Muslim Personal Law Board has been against any interference on this, but there are a lot of women in the community who say it's an unfair practice.
As far as the government is concerned, you cannot expect anything more than that. We were expecting it, that government will take this view, because as far as the present government is concerned, they are more interested in creating the confusion among the people instead of resolving all the issues. As far as this triple talaq issue is concerned, that is just in fact the beginning of what they are talking about, the uniform civil code, which ultimately they will try to do that, and which will be dividing the whole society of the country, and it will not good for us, for the whole country. As far as we are concerned, we have already objected to this, and we have filed our affidavit in the before the Supreme Court. As far as the present government is concerned, it's very unfortunate that they took the decision on their own without discussing the issue with the Muslim clerics or the Muslim Personal Law Board or anybody else. We at our as far as we are concerned, we had taken all the precautions, and we had given a detailed letter to all the 5 ministers plus the Honorable Prime Minister, requesting them that before taking any view, please listen to us also, because our point of view should also be taken. But perhaps they have thought about it and they have not taken any note of it. So we have already filed the our affidavit in the Parliament, in the court.
All right. Before I move on to the rest of the panel, we also have from the Muslim Personal Law Board Maulana Khalid Rashid from Lucknow, who's joining us. Kamal Farooqi is making the point that the government has gone ahead with this in the court today without taking the Muslim community into consultation, without speaking to clerics. Do you agree with his view, or do you feel that there is going to be a lot of pressure to actually well, if not the entire civil code, certainly the issue of triple talaq that needs to be addressed.
Whatever Mr. Kamal Farooqi has said, I think he is completely right, because the constitution of our country clearly gives us the right to follow our Muslim personal law in our day-to-day life. What is suspicious is that in this particular case also, you can see that the husband has beaten his wife a number of times. He has thrown his wife out of his house. He has forced her for abortion number of times. He has demanded dowry, but no case has been lodged against him under the Indian Penal Code. Why only the case of divorce and triple talaq has been lodged?
So, I think that's also because the petitioner has filed this particular case of triple talaq. Other cases are filed and under different sections. I'm sure Shazia Ilmi, I want you to come in on this next, because you know you're wearing two hats today. One, a member of the community, and second, as a spokesperson for the BJP right now. The fact is, we've just heard Maulana Khalid Rashid say, why have other more serious crimes against women not been brought to the notice of the court? Your response to that, Shazia?
Well, I don't just wear the hat of being a member of the community. I'm a proud Indian citizen and a Muslim woman, and yes, I also belong to a particular party. But as far as this triple talaq is concerned, let me state it categorically: 26 Islamic theocratic countries where Islamic jurisprudence prevails, which is Sudan, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, Syria, Bangladesh, and lo and behold Pakistan, where they have banned triple talaq, because triple talaq has no place in Quran. In fact, it's called talaq-e-biddat, which came
factually it is incorrect.
Interesting.
So when those theocratic nations have actually looked at, let me finish, sir, let me finish, there's lots to say about your claim and what Quran's claim is.
No,
and
but
how
you should not.
your claim
Okay,
is.
at least
we'll come back to you. Let us
talk about that.
We'll come
Let
back
it not
to the
be
rest
about
of the guests.
BJP. Let it not be about Congress. No.
This is actually a gender rights issue as well, Shazia. That's mostly what it is.
They would,
But
no,
don't
listen,
speak
sir,
untrue
I don't
things.
want to get politics into it.
Yeah.
But the fact is, talaq-e-biddat itself has no place in the Quran Sharif itself. And because women are suffering, because not just Shaira Bano's case, but many other cases have been where there have been all kinds of instant talaq being given, either through Skype or through a text message, which have no place in the Quran, as you know, because the Quran is pre-dated.
In this case, over the phone. I'll come
social
back to you,
media is
sir.
concerned.
All right, Shazia.
There is no voice of reason coming from Muslim clerics.
This is completely.
So I uphold this as a laudable.
Okay, all right.
Decision.
Maulana Khalid and Kamal Farooqi, I'll get back to you, Shazia. I want to bring our other two guests in as well, Karuna Nandi and Shahid Siddiqui. Karuna, let me actually first come to you, because, you know, the centre made the argument today that there are at least 22 Islamic countries in the world that have regulated, they did not use the word ban, they said that have regulated personal law, especially on the issue of divorce and marriage, this issue of triple talaq. Shazia did make a very valid point, saying that this is not about politics and the BJP and Uniform Civil Code overall. This really becomes a gender rights issue as well, and the court has actually asked the Law Commission to open this up for wider debate.
You know, let's come to the legal issues first here, Maya. Essentially, under Article 25, there is an exception for secular activity that may or may not be associated with religious activity. Now, let's be clear that there are various ways of oppressing women, right? Like sometimes there is the excuse of religion that is brought in. So there are two issues here. One, is this in fact a religious restriction at all? Which I think it's extremely convincing to argue that it is not in fact a religious restriction under Sharia, given that, as I think someone mentioned, there are various theocratic countries which purport to have Sharia law in personal relations that do not have triple talaq, right?
I'll come back to you, Shazia. I'll come back.
If you look at the Haji Ali judgment, if you look at the Haji Ali judgment, for instance, right? The point there was that they said that, look, this is not a religious issue, so admittedly, so therefore we can deal with this.
Okay.
Now we must be clear that this will also very much impact and should impact Hindu women's rights, right?
Yes.
When we look at Hindu women's rights, for example, you look at section 27, I think it is, of the Hindu Marriage Act, where only property that is in your joint name with your husband can be divided, plus you'll get maintenance, and that's it.
Right.
You know? So it's extremely discriminatory, which is why 498A gets misused.
Right.
And when it comes to this, we see that the government will not take action.
Right.
You know, I think it's highly unlikely, and so far we have seen no move whatsoever. But here they are taking action. Here they are responding in a particular way.
So that also points to a sort of hypocrisy.
Yes, absolutely. But does this mean that the Bharatiya Muslim Mahila Andolan that has been campaigning against triple talaq for the longest time should not be heard? Does this mean that the Supreme Court should not exercise its own judgment on the rights of our citizens? No, it does not. So as it happens, the government happens to have come to the correct answer on this, but perhaps by the wrong route.
All right, the right answer but the wrong route. Shahid Siddiqui, come in on this, because, you know, this is what Kamal Farooqi began by saying, is that they're making this about triple talaq right now, but it's really, you know, a hop, skip and a jump from here to the larger issue of a uniform civil code.
Look, Maya, there is always politics in every action. And when politics is mixed with religion, it becomes extremely potent, extremely dangerous. But let's also face the reality, and I would have welcomed, highly welcomed, the society would have welcomed, the Muslims would have welcomed, if the Muslim Personal Law Board, Muslim clerics, Muslim ulama had come forward and said, look, we ourselves want to set our house in order, and we want to give, because Islam has given tremendous rights to Muslim women, to any women, and therefore let's go for the Quranic concept of talaq, and this triple talaq, which is a sword hanging on every wife all the time, constantly, should not be there, because it is un-Quranic. It was in a particular situation, and that situation does not exist. When the social situation changes, economic situation changes, then you do not apply something which was not basically Islamic, basically Quranic. And therefore, that has not happened. That is unfortunate. But at the same time, common civil code is a much more complex issue. And we don't have the time to go into that. But I am not for it at the moment.
Okay.